Hi guys, welcome back to Beast Speed Shop. So this week I'm attempting to fix the rusty seal section on my MX-5. So I have started to do some of the work. I've cut away part of the outer seal and rear wheel arch section, and I've also started to cut away the inner seal because there's a strip I need to get to underneath the floor there that I need to fix first. So I'll quickly show you at what point I'm at, and then I'm just about to cut out my patch to replace that little section piece. So we get that cut out and then shape it and hopefully get it welded in today as well. So I've already got quite a lot of the rusty section cut out. So I've got the rear wheel arch section still left to cut out just here, but I've cut out this lower section for the outer sill, and I've started to cut away this inner sill section. So the piece I'm working on at the moment is to replace this section along here, and then it comes up round this side. So I've already made a pattern just using some card. So I'll quickly get this marked up onto my sheet of metal, then I can get it cut out and bend it into shape. So I've now got my piece marked out onto my sheet of metal so I can get it cut out. So this square here, I'll just quickly explain. When you look at it side on, it sort of does like it sort of dips down. There's like a few marks just to create a strengthening piece there. So I'm going to try and see if I can recreate that. If not, what I could do is cut out a separate rectangle of metal, put in some shape to it, and then weld it onto this. And these lines up here, I'm going to cut into the actual sheet metal, so that this piece will bend up round this way, and this piece will just fold up. And then these lines, what I plan on doing is, because there's a radius on that inside corner, so I'm going to cut those lines just to give it a few relief marks, so that I can try and hammer these edges over to join, so it creates that inside radius. So I can quickly get this piece cut out and start shaping it up. So this is where I've gotten to so far on my repair patch I'm making. So to bend up this edge, I clamped it in the vise and used my clamped it on the box tube as well, just to get that 5mm rad in there. So it's roughly the same as what's on the car already. As you can see, this radius along here, that's much bigger than 5mm. So what I did is I just opened up the jaws of the vise, so there's about an inch gap in between, and what I did is I used the ball peen hammer, just held that in the vise at an angle, and just started to create that bend in there just to get that radius. And then I got this piece of foamy stuff with some sort of rubber on top, so that's what I just used to hammer it into that, just to finish off this edge. And I did have to clamp this side in the vise slightly just to finish bending it over just a little bit, but I'm happy with how that is now. As you can see on this end, I've put in my little cuts so I can try and dome. So when you look at it from this side, I'll hammer these together to try and follow this radius. It's slightly bigger on the actual car, this section of the radius. So I'm going to try my best to blend it in from here, make it slightly bigger, and then it does sort of fade out at the top here. So I'm going to see if I've got a larger ball peen hammer, and what I'm going to do with that is clamp it in the vise with the ball peen end sticking up, and just carefully start to hammer over them little pieces I cut, just to try and create the radius in this section. So what I've done is I've bent up that side, so I know that radius there is correct. So what I'll do is try and hammer these together, and then as I go I can grind this edge away just so it matches in, and then obviously I can just weld up all of those little cuts I made, and then it's just a case of welding it in the car. So I've been working on the end of my repair patch I've been making for the underside between the floor and the sill for the MX-5, and I've just clamped the ball peen hammer in the vise and just used the metal shaping hammer to bend over these edges just to create a radius in there. So I'm quite happy with the shape this is taking, but just to finish it off, I'm going to put a few tacks along this middle edge just to close that gap, just so I can finish shaping the top edge there. Just got to finish that end bit. And then once I'm happy with the shape, I can weld up all of these gaps, and then it's just a case of cleaning up this panel. I got a little bit more to trim out of the car so this panel will actually fit in. And then I can put some weldable primer on this to give it some protection, and then I can start welding it in. So I'm back today to finish working on this panel, get this piece finished. So what I've got to do is make this little piece, which will weld on, I think it was that way around I decided. I will double check, but that's what I need to cut out anyway, and then weld on there, and that just closes off that panel, and the edge down this side will spot weld to the new inner wheel arch, the flanged edge where it spot welds down. So that will just finish off that piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a change of plan of what I'm actually doing on the car. So my plan was to finish this piece and weld it in, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on some of the other panels first, like the inner rear wheel arch section. I'm going to see if I can get that tack welded in, and before doing this, so that then I can make this fit up to that piece, because I know that piece fits really well. I've tried it on the car today and it's pretty much perfect. Obviously this piece I've made just from some sheet metal I had, so it's probably not going to be a perfect fit, so I'd rather adjust this and try and make it fit with the actual panels. So I'm going to weld in the actual wheel arch section first and make this fit up to that. But what I need to do first is make that section and get that welded on. So I was just checking my pattern I made again on the car just to make sure I did get it right. Turns out I don't need this end piece here, I just need a straight 90 degree there with the radius cut out. So what I'll do is I'll quickly cut that little tab off, and then I can get my pattern drawn on my sheet of metal, and I'll see if I got an actual corner I can use. So then all I have to do is cut those two little inch-long sections. Now I've got to cut the radius out. So I've got my little closing end piece. It's all cut out, and I put a little bend in here just to match the bend along this edge. I've just put a couple of tacks in, and I've checked it on the cutter. It looks like it's the right angle, and it should fit up nicely when I can push it up all the way. So I'm really happy with how that's gone. There's a light gap here which I need to close. So what I'll do is I'll just hammer this edge in a little bit and just weld up all the way along this seam and a little bit down there. So I've got my end closing patch all welded onto my panel I'm making. I'm really happy with how the weld came out today. See, I welded it from this side and the penetration was really nice. I did have to add a little bit just there, and just there I added a little bit on the other side. But I'm really happy with how that's gone today. So I'll just give this a bit of a clean up. Just grind the tops off of those welds. I've still got a little bit of welding just to finish on the top edge there. But I think what I'm going to do now is test fit it in the actual car again. Make sure I'm happy with the way it all lines up and everything. So I've just given my weld I did a little bit of a clean up, a little bit of a grind just to take the tops off, and it's come out really nice. I'm really happy with the way that's come out. It's got really good penetration on the weld as well. You can see it quite nicely on the other side. So I just got this little bit to finish off welding at the top, and then I can cut that off all at the same height. What I did is these top two bits on this side, just there, I just ground them back a little bit. So now when I bring those in, that'll be just right when I weld it up. It'll be all in the right position and everything. So I'm really happy with how that's gone. So I am going to be leaving this video here for now. Luckily I've got the rest of the week to finish this job, so I'm going to leave this video here, and what I do for the rest of the week, I'll try and film what I do and make a video for next week. So the plan will be to the inner wheel arch panel. I want to see if I can get that tacked in, and then from there I can work on the inner sill section, and I can work on the section that I've just made to fix the floor. So hopefully all those three will fit together quite nicely, and then once I get those in, it's just a case of doing the outer sill and rear wheel arch section on the outside. Then it'd be a case of just doing some body work and getting it painted and getting it protected as well on the inside. So I'll leave this video here for now, and thanks for watching.